And welcome to the video. My name is Josh. I have a channel called Perfect Timepiece. If you don't know me, but for my fans, I'm with James. And
Hello.
you want to tell us about yourself, James?
Yeah, definitely. My name's James. I'm from Is Kibble Talks Watches. I do pretty much the same as what Josh does, apart from he does that slight bit better. I'm going to catch up with you, Josh. Don't worry. But yeah, we both dedicate our channels to watches, reviews. Pretty much, if you like the other person, I have a feeling you're going to like either of us because we're both pretty similar in the way we do things. Yeah, we just review watches, talk about watches, and that sort of stuff. I do the same.
I hope you give me a run for my money.
Yeah, man.
It'd be
I hope
fun.
so too. I hope so too. Because at the end of the day, competition is healthy. And I just want to warn the viewers right now here in the UK, there is thunderstorms. So if you see flashes, if you see me looking around, it's because I'm scared for my life right now, like a little wimp. I need my teddy bear with me, but I've left it at home. So wait, I'm at home. That makes no sense, but we'll carry on anyway.
So, do you had some topics that you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about?
So they're not really topics, just think I wanted to talk about. So right now, the last time we recorded this, I was wearing a harness that I got sent by a very, very generous viewer. He actually sent 4 of them to me for me to review, and since then he's actually sent 16 more watches for me to review, and 15 of which I will be selling as well. But one is the Seiko Gigero, which I'll be sending back to him after I
Oh my
reviewed, because
gosh.
this is his, that he really, really likes. But there's other ones such as an Oris Arctic GT, which I will be buying off of him. Watches like Enroyal or Eroyal, which is an Australian micro brand. Autodromo Stradale, something like that. I will show it. I haven't got it with me right now. My dad's got it. I'm letting him experience it, but very, very cool watch nonetheless. And I just want to talk about Swiss watches because I know that you own Swiss watches. You own 2, the Tissot and is the Jazzmaster Swiss?
Yeah, the
So
Jazzmaster
3.
is Swiss,
So 3 because you got the
but
crystal
I
ball.
have 4 vintage Omega
Okay.
Geneva
You have the Genève.
from the 70s. Yeah,
You didn't put
yeah,
that in the
Geneve,
collection
right.
picture.
I no, I
It's a
did it in my
beauty.
older videos, but yeah, it's gold plated. It's actually kind of in poor condition. The case is, but
It's a beauty
I don't know.
nonetheless.
If I have an extra $1,000 laying around, I might send it into Omega to have it to have it
Fair enough,
restored.
fair enough, yeah. This is a beautiful watch.
Um,
It's a
but
beautiful watch.
then but then I have my Christopher Ward diver. That's a Swiss piece.
Yep,
There it's a London boutique, but they're Swiss made.
yep.
And then I have my Tissot and my Hamilton. So
Yeah, so you've got a lot of
got a
experience
few.
with. Yeah, definitely. You've got a lot of experience with Swiss, whereas me myself, this is actually the first Swiss watch I've ever actually handled more than just in an authorized dealer. Like ask him to have a little play with it. Like this whole unboxing experience, everything. Like I have he even sent the box, everything. So I had a full proper unboxing experience, and it felt pretty much. I think he's only wore this a few times. It's pretty much immaculate. And I just want to talk about Swiss. What you think of Swiss watches and how they compare in terms of price difference? Because a big thing that I'm really focusing on my channel is price, like the cheapest bang per buck, as the Americans say, just getting a really amazing
Yeah.
deals. And this Oris has opened my eyes to just a whole nother level of quality. I have an SKX, which is just amazing, but this costs about obviously brand new, and I bought my SKX brand new. This is probably around £1,200, or around that, and the SKX is about £160. So we can say that it's about 10 times more expensive. Let's just say that. But is it 10 times the quality? That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you said the Oris is what 1,600 US, right?
Probably around that, yeah.
Yeah. That's actually I don't like to spend anywhere above the $1,000 mark for Swiss pieces, especially if they have a generic, ETA
ETA, yeah.
2824
Which this
based
does, yeah.
movement. Yeah, the value just isn't there.
Hmm.
I think in you know, if you're buying used, or if you can find it on the gray market with a really good deal, this watch, I think the Tissot Powermatic 80,
Yeah.
which I actually have a review about to come out for, I think it originally retailed for about 1,200,
Okay.
and then Tissot realized that they were crazy,
Yeah.
and gray market people have it for about 800.
Hmm.
And then there was a deal on the gray market for 33% off of that. So I got, you know, a $1,200 watch, brand new, for I think right around $500.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. I mean, buying new, I don't really think the value is ever there when you go over 1,000.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, in terms of going over 1,000, I agree. But in terms of buying brand new and value, I think the lower you go, the more value you get buying brand new, such as the Seiko 5s. I'd say most of the Seiko line, to be honest, you're getting more value buying brand new than a lot of the time you do second hand, because of the prices.
Yeah, and I mean, I would argue, you know, the Seiko Presage line.
Yeah.
You have kind of the 5s at the lower end.
Well, the Sulks are in the Presage line. The SOG, yeah.
Yeah, but so it's like the 5s are like the lower end. The Sarb line is kind of in the middle between the 5s and the Presage, and then you have Grand Seiko.
Yeah.
And the Presage line is kind of cornering that $500 market. And I think they have a lot of competition there because you can get a lot of the either used, or if you look for a deal, in that price range.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
The quality is very comparable between the Seiko Presage line and some of the Swiss pieces.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to touch on. Because at the end of the day, to me, and a lot of people go against this and they say, yeah, but you're not paying 10 times the price to get 10 times the quality. That's not what you're paying for. And yeah, I understand that isn't what you're paying for. But at the end of the day, as a person who's, you know, as a consumer, is that not something an everyday consumer would expect? Is it wrong for a consumer to expect that kind of stuff? When you go buy food and you pay, let's say, $1 for, I don't know, like a $1 for a big cheap bottle of Coke, or you pay $3 for a big bottle of actual Coca-Cola, you're paying that extra to get extra quality, usually 3 times the quality, or even more in some cases, you know what I mean? I just think it should relate in terms of that. Obviously, food and watches are completely different, and these are luxury goods and not necessities. Then again, Coca-Cola isn't either, but still, you get my point.
Yeah, I think I always like to compare watches to cars. You know, how much like, if you buy a watch, it's going to tell you the time. Luckily, we're at a point in society where watches are really, really cheap. If you go quartz, and even if you go mechanical, you can get something really nice for, you know, around 200, 250, right? Like the SKX.
Arguably under 100. So the Seiko 5 line, I think, is absolutely incredible. I truly think the Seiko
I don't
5
have
line's
experience
amazing.
with those.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything about that. But I mean, my friend has had one and it's worked perfectly fine for him. I think he's had a SNK 809. It's like a $57 automatic watch from Seiko.
And they use the same movement that the SKX use, the 7S26. So movement-wise, you've got a very reliable, easy-to-fix movement.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, like, once you buy a watch, you're telling the time, right? And if you want a whole bunch of extra complications, we're kind of getting into the homage territory. But you can buy watches that are cheap that give you all of those features.
Yeah. Or
but
alternatively, like you said, you could go with like G-Shocks and get all the features for even lesser price and not homage. You know, there are the alternatives out there. It's a very difficult thing to tackle because at the end of the day, like you said, it comes down to just a basic function of telling the time. And on that basic function of telling the time, you are fine with a £2 like little toy watch from, I don't know, like the local Walmart. You know what I mean? You'll be fine with it. It'll work. It'll tell the time. It's quartz. It'll be accurate. So I guess it just goes beyond necessity and more into just whatever, really, isn't it? You know, it's just whatever the consumer wants.
Yeah, and you know, watches like cars have a whole bunch of different facets to them, right?
Yeah.
You can have different materials that the watch is made out of. You can have different designs on the face of the watch. You can have different hand styles. Just like you can have a different color car with a different type of interior, with a different type of sound system, right? So having a watch isn't so much about telling the time, like a car isn't so much about getting you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
You know, it is about the feel and you know, what you want out of your watch.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more with you. But it's still that question still runs in my head. The whole, is it 10 times the quality? And then it brings up all the other questions. This is why I thought it'd be a great topic, because obviously we've just gone on a tangent, which has brought out even more questions. I think it's always brilliant. It's like a never-ending question, and yeah, I love that sort of stuff, because you could ask anyone and everyone will give you different answers. There's the purists who are just like, yeah, it should be 10 times the quality because you're paying 10 times the price. You know, that's how it works. But then you've got the people who really look into it more and go, well, no, because you're not paying 10 times the price to receive 10 times the quality. You know, yeah, I think it's a great question. And I think you guys watching, if you could leave us your opinion down in the comments as well, I think that'd be absolutely great to see what you guys and girls think.
Yeah, and I think the answer from anyone who's owned, you know, a lower end watch and then kind of the medium end, I think the answer is, you know, you're definitely not getting 10 times the watch.
Definitely not.
For your money. So, you know, everyone has their own way of justifying that,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, of course, and that's what it comes down to, personal justification on spending the more money on the better watch. But it really depends, and I've seen it from all different ends of the spectrum. I've been on many different ends of the spectrum, even more so now I have this Oris. Whilst it's not mine just yet, it will be mine because I'm definitely buying it, but you know, it's really opened my eyes to the different areas, because to me, I was always one of those people, I'd love to own these higher end watches, but to me, I'm fine sticking with Seiko. I've heard from multiple different people, like Jay Anthony, who's made these videos showing that he enjoys his Monster more than his Rolex GMT, like, and he says in terms of quality, yeah, of course the Rolex is better, but it's not that much better that makes you go, I want to wear the GMT more than the Monster. And it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of lower end watches actually comparing, you know, in a way that's not what most people think. It definitely, you're not getting, I guess, the converse of what we were talking about earlier. You know, just because you spend a tenth of the money, you're getting a tenth of the watch until you go really, really low in price, obviously. But yeah, I mean, and I think that's why, you know, channels like us have, you know, a viewership, is because people don't really know what to expect when buying a watch, and it's a lot of money. These are a lot of money. Yeah, definitely. They, at the end of the day, they want to see someone else make the mistake before they make the mistake of getting the wrong watch, you know. And it's very, very true. At the end of the day, I've heard such mixed things on, for example, the Rolex Daytona. Now, imagine being the person spending that amount of money on a Rolex Daytona, and it turns out you don't like it, you know, because it's so mixed. It's as much as I love the look of the Daytona, I think it looks incredible. It literally is a Marmite watch in a sense, you know, and yeah.
It's a what watch? Sorry?
A Marmite watch. I'm
not familiar.
Okay, so Marmite is a malt. What is it? It's like a malt paste thing. Vegemite. Have you heard of Vegemite?
Yeah, kind of.
It's Australian Vegemite. I don't know how do you explain it. The English viewers are going, yes, we agree, and everyone else is like, what is he on about? Well, forget I even said that bit, but it's a watch that just splits people down the middle. There we go. We'll call it that.
Oh, okay. All right. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand now.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, it's one of those, and I don't know, for the price, imagine spending that amount of money and getting a watch you don't like. At the end of the day, that's why YouTube exists, especially this market on YouTube exists, because we're out to represent the consumer, and especially the lower end people, in my opinion, because we're a lot more critical. Personally, I think we're a lot more critical than the higher end guys, because, well, then again, it depends. But in general, I'd say we're more critical because when we get these higher end pieces, we're much more honest because we've not experienced it. Like me, personally, I've never experienced a Swiss watch. So to me, I'm going to be very honest about this. It feels great, but it's not that much better.
Yeah, and the other thing, you know, the higher end channels, a lot of money put into their collection,
Yeah.
right? So if they buy $1,000 watch and it isn't that good, you know, they're losing $1,000, but to them it's not that much money.
Yeah.
Whereas to me, that's a significant amount of change.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
And
So
I think they have a level of sort of like they feel like maybe they have to protect their watches in a certain way in terms of defending them. You know, if they spent 20 grand on a watch and it's not very good, they might feel like I've got to pretend this is good because I've just spent that much on it. You know what I mean? I feel like some of them would. I'm not saying any of them do that, but I'm just saying I feel like some people would do that. I know I probably would. If I spent 20 grand on a watch, £20,000 or dollars on a watch, and it wasn't like exactly to my standards, I'd probably be like, it's great. This hurts. It hurts. Like, because that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
well, yeah, and I mean, that's why I'm always gonna buy used, unless I'm absolutely sure I want it. But yeah, I mean, it would just be so bad to be stuck, you know, financially invested in something like that.
Yeah, and knowing you don't like it either. Like, that'd be the worst thing. Yeah, it's I can't imagine it myself.
Did you see my Frederic Constant that I had?
Yes, I did.
Videos on it on the channel.
Yeah, I did. You sold it because you weren't a fan of it, right? Or
yeah,
was it really
well,
your taste?
Yeah, the thing to me was that watch I think is a $2,500 watch new, which don't ever go to an 80. But I think I got it for 700 or something like that. And
that's a huge depreciation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that should tell you something wrong is going on at Frederic Constant.
Yeah.
They were acquired. But you know, I compared it to my Christopher Ward that I got for about $550.
Yeah.
And it just, I would rather have two Christopher Wards.
Well, for the
it just didn't compare.
Yeah, and on Christopher Ward, I want to know what you think of all their logo changes and all their changes recently, because I feel like they're gonna fall into the same boat that Frederic Constant are in at the moment.
Oh, you think so? I think they're
so.
actually doing well as a company.
You do?
Financially, I think they're doing okay. I haven't heard anything.
Well, have you seen their new logos and everything like that?
Yeah, I have
And
seen
the
the
latest
new logos.
watches, and they're pretty much getting a lot of flack from the top end of the top people in the community, such as like Hodinky. I'm not too sure, but I think certain other YouTubers have made comments on the logo as well. And I want to know what you think, because we are the younger generation, and they did it, and they publicized that they did it to appeal to the younger generation. I want to know if you feel like that new logo, that new design style they're going with, actually appeals to the younger generation more so than the designs before, such as what you have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally a big fan of their new logo, but my diver has the old logo, and it's something that I like. I think their old logo still had problems of its own.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how they would even fix it, but I'm not a fan of the new typeface.
No. And I refer to it like this, and I don't know if people will agree with me on it, but it looks like a child's just typed into Word, copied and pasted it on Photoshop onto a dial and just slapped it on and said a day's work done. And it scares me to think how much the designer got paid to do that logo, because in all honesty, it's supposed to appeal to the younger generation, and I'm going to be harsh on it. I think it looks absolutely horrible. I think it looks like complete dog. Yeah. It's awful. It is absolutely awful, and I think they're going to end up, and logos play a huge part in marketing, and a lot of them don't realize, because at the end of the day, marketing is how you market. like how you market to people, and the logo speaks thousands about that. Their logo is dreadful. It doesn't appeal to the younger generation. I've asked many of my friends what they think. I've even compared it. People who don't even know about watches, I've said, look at this old logo, look at this new, which one do you prefer? They're like, the old one, the old one, the old one. No one likes the new one, and they're the younger generation, so who are you appealing to? No one. You can drive your business down by the logo, especially when it's clothing, watches, things that rely on a logo.
Yeah. Well, James, I don't know if you know, I'm studying engineering, and there's a whole bunch of skits about, you know, marketing people versus engineering.
Yeah.
There's this one that I really like. It's like, hey, we want a triangle in invisible ink. And the engineer is like, oh, we can't do that. And I don't know why I'm on this tangent, but
it's all good. Carry on.
It's just like I'm having all sorts of trouble over here. Anyway, it's just, you know, the marketing department isn't really connected with the community.
No, I completely agree. I've actually done graphic design at college, which obviously played a heavy part in marketing, learning marketing and the ways of the business. And I actually I was a marketing and salesman for a while. And again, in there, they don't connect. They do not connect at all. And I completely agree with you on that. They're more concerned on, I don't even know how to put it, because at the end of the day, they do everything by like spreadsheets. Just spreadsheets, not actual interactions with people. That's what I've noticed from it. And at the end of the day, the only way you can know is by comparing it and allowing people to judge which ones they want. And from my own extensive research, by asking like 5 people, I've concluded that the younger generation does not like their new logo. So Christopher Ward, if you're listening, I'd advise going back to the old one before you run your company to the ground, because the younger generation is your generation, or your future generation of buyers. If you don't appeal to them, they're not going to buy you. And it goes for a lot of brands. I think they really need to listen to what people have to say. And this is where I respect Orion. Because their Mako USA 2, they listened to the people. They really did. They changed a lot about that watch. Have you seen the Mako 2?
Yeah, I was actually just about to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No. I mean, you beat me to the punchline. I think I did a news story covering the Hodinkee article.
Yeah.
I mean, they took a total cue from the community.
Massive.
And they were like, okay, what's wrong with this watch?
Yeah.
Why aren't you guys buying it?
And that's it. Like, when these brands like announce all these losses in sales and all this sort of stuff, I'm sitting there going, why don't they ask why people aren't buying it? What they'd like instead? Because that's it. You've got the answers. At the end of the day, we're the people buying it, so we know what's best for the product. Like, they seem to think because they're the ones creating it, they know what's best. And then when it doesn't sell, they wonder why it didn't sell. It's like, ask the people who are buying it. It seems so simple to me, and to like the majority of the consumers out here in the world. But to the businesses themselves, it's like an alien thing. Well, ask the people, them humans who buy out. No, we can't do that. And then you got humble companies like Orion who aren't like crazy high up, and they've done it. They've created an amazing watch. The Mako USA 2, hacking manual winding. They got rid of that pusher. They added sapphire crystal. Like, how can you fault it? It looks incredible. It's now actually incredible. It doesn't have that really annoying, I don't like it, that really annoying pusher that the other one had. You know, it's an overall great watch.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think I'm actually probably going to get one of those pieces. My first automatic watch, I think, was an Orient Bambino a long time ago, probably V1.
Good watch.
Yeah, and after buying my Swiss pieces, I didn't really think I'd ever go back to Orient. But after seeing that watch, I particularly like the white face version of that watch.
I think they're all really, really incredible in their own rights, to be honest. And yeah, I agree. The light face is just, yeah. I think when companies listen, like Orient, they end up releasing a product that can really compete with the Swiss in terms of what people want. And I think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I think it's dangerous for the Swiss. But companies like Orient, Seiko at the end of the day already made great timepieces in my opinion, and there's not really a lot wrong with them. But if they listen to the community in terms of bracelets, I think is a common issue across clasps, especially in my experience, and maybe they've already done it. They're hacking the manual wind movement. They've already implemented that into the latest sort of monster range and stuff. So it's just scary seeing these companies get stuff so right, and then there's companies like Christopher Ward who are supposed to be much more better at it, and they're messing up. I think they messed up with their logo, personally. Obviously, it's all personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean the Swiss companies, they're larger, you know,
Yeah.
and I think, you know, they're older too.
Not all of them, but yeah,
I don't know.
a lot of them. At the end of the day, Seiko have been around a lot longer than a lot of Swiss companies actually, you know, and they've been at the forefront of most changes in the industry, you know, with quartz, with lots of other things actually. I want to do a video hopefully soon just going over Seiko's history. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the Swiss companies are slow to change, and they don't really have a presence in the community, whether it's on YouTube or through other social media or through Reddit, or, you know, however they would. That's how I interact with the community. I don't know how anyone else would.
Definitely,
but,
I think it is changing though, because you got the likes of Tag Heuer, Hublot. You know, these companies are getting marketing right, and I think the quicker companies change to our kind of marketing, the marketing for the younger generation, the quicker it's going to become more accessible for the younger generation. Because nowadays, and I think this is going to damage the industry, and a lot of people probably don't agree with me, but smartwatches, whilst they don't directly impact the community right now, or the watch industry, they will do in the long run. Because as a younger person, we have to admit, a lot of our friends tailor towards smartwatches, fashion watches, and at the end of the day, they say, yeah, but these people can't afford the Swiss watches right now. They're your future buyers. One day they may be a doctor, they may have a really well-paid position, and if they've only ever been marketed by companies like Apple with their Apple Watch, or Samsung with their Gear or whatever it's called, or all these different watches, they're not going to think, oh wait, I've got the money now, I should spend £3,000 on a watch. No, because that's not going to be ingrained in their mind. What's ingrained in their mind is I can get a really cool watch with all these funky gadgets for like 300 quid, 400 quid. And I think they need to change their marketing, like Hublot, like Tag Heuer have, and make it a bit fresher for the younger generation, so they see it and they go, I can't afford that right now, but if I can one day, I'm going to get that.
Yeah, I mean, wearable technology is definitely a threat to the market. I mean, I think probably, you know, before we die, you know, hopefully that's not soon. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. Fingers are crossed. Depends how many bikes are flying off.
Yeah, I mean, if you live an average life, I mean, I think before the end of if we live to be, you know, the average 80 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think, you know, in the next 60 years, wearable technology is going to progress so far that we may not even have watches.
It's a big statement.
I don't know how that's gonna progress, but
yeah, I don't think it's gonna wipe out watches in that sense. I don't think it's that revolutionary yet. Obviously, a lot can change. Technology moves fast. We've seen it throughout generations that technology all of a sudden boom takes over another aspect of our lives, and it becomes like just no longer necessary to have certain things. But watches, I think there's always going to be a core following, and it's not a small core following, because at the end of the day, companies like Patek, companies like AP, companies like that would not exist if it was a small portion of people, you know, because their profit margins clearly show otherwise. So I don't think they've got to fear anytime soon. I think the more younger people who get into watches, obviously the better, because then that means it's going to prolong the life of watches. Wearable technology, in my opinion, are not watches. They're wrist gadgets. They're not things. They're not like artistic things, in my opinion. Obviously, I understand a lot of mechanical engineering goes into these things, but in terms of actual artist styling and, you know, just pure beauty, you know, look at a movement. You're not going to get the same by turning over and looking at a battery. So, you know, I don't know. I guess quartz played such a big role in this fear that built up in the community that if anything comes in, anything new, anything fresh, it's going to ruin everything. Quartz ruined a lot, but it didn't ruin everything. I think the same is going to be said about this current phase.
Yeah, I mean, but 60 years ago, 1956. How much has changed since then?
Everything.
I'm a big optimist for the future. So, I think of course there will always be for following that has watches.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it'll be economically viable for these companies to exist. We're already seeing a large collapse in at least the Swiss market, and I know that was brought on by Quartz. 60 years is a long time.
It is a long time, and like you said, a lot can change in that time, and all we have to do is look at the technology used to land on the moon and now the technology we have on a daily basis, to know that we've got way more technology in a smartwatch, than what they had to land on the moon. But yeah, I think there's a lot of art, like, if we look at watches as art and an appreciative art, then it won't die out, because art doesn't die. You know what I mean? But in terms of, like you said, looking at it as a business standpoint, it's not art. It's a business. A watch company is a business. So yeah, I can see a lot of companies closing down over the next 20 years maybe, but the big ones, the people that actually have the impact, I don't think so. I don't think we're ever going to see Rolex die out, personally. I think it's going to be a lifelong company, or like, obviously to a certain extent, once we start getting flying spaceships and stuff, then who knows? But they did predict that would happen in, like, when was it? 2001, Space Odyssey. Have you seen that film?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it didn't happen. So, you never know.
We're not too far.
From spaceships.
Yeah. Have you followed Elon Musk?
Yes, but I don't know. I think we've got quite a while until we get spaceships and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we've not even discovered the deepest depths.
There's a very big announcement.
We haven't even discovered the deepest depths of our own ocean yet. I find it hard to believe we'll be hovering around our own atmosphere until, like, if we can't even discover the deepest depths of our own ocean. I don't know how much.
We do have the ISS.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic about the future.
That's good. That's if we haven't all nuked each other by then. If another world war hasn't happened by then.
Right. Here's what's gonna happen. All the watchmakers are gonna go out of business, and then we're gonna nuke each other because
we haven't got watches.
We can't take it without the watches.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Definitely. We'll all move to the moon and Mars.
Right.
There we go. We've just predicted the future.
I don't know what's on the moon, but
aliens.
Well, of course. That's why we didn't go back.
Tell me about it. Exactly. We never even landed there anyway. It was all a hoax. Area 51, isn't it? Okay, guys, so I hope you all enjoyed that. We went on a bit of a tangent towards the end, but either way, it's been very, very fun. If you guys want to see more of this, which obviously you do, make sure you leave a like. Let us know down in the comments. Don't forget to check both of us out on either of our channels. If you're new to either of us, definitely show the support. And Josh, I want to just say a huge thank you for doing this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for your time. And there will be a link to James' channel in the description, so you guys should check him out.
And a link to Josh is in my description, so definitely check him out as well. I think our communities are going to like this. And yeah, like I said, if you do, leave a like, let us know, and we will see you all again in the next one, guys. Take care.
All right, bye, guys.